Attention passionate New York Giants fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on New York Giants' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true New York Giants fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and New York Giants fans. Let's get to the news. Now, folks, if you're a Giants supporter, you know how crucial it is to stay informed about every move, every decision that could shape this team's future. And today, we're diving deep into a situation that's causing quite a stir around MetLife Stadium and across the NFL. The Giants, as we all know, faced a major blow recently with the devastating news of Malik Nabers tearing his ACL. That's right, Malik Nabers, who had been emerging as a real threat on the outside, a guy who was making big plays, catching 18 passes for 271 yards and scoring 2 touchdowns this season. He was fast becoming one of Daniel Jones' favorite targets, drawing attention from defenses all across the league. His injury isn't just a setback. It's a blow to the Giants' offensive rhythm, and it's forcing the front office and coaching staff to reevaluate their entire approach to filling that void. Nabers' absence leaves the Giants in a tricky spot, especially when you consider the current makeup of their wide receiver room. It's a unit that's been somewhat inconsistent, to say the least. Darius Slayton remains a dependable option, but he's not exactly a game-changer in the way Nabers was starting to become. Wan'Dale Robinson, with his quickness and shiftiness, has shown flashes, but consistency has eluded him. Jalen Hyatt, who was expected to take a leap this season, has been MIA since his rookie campaign, barely getting opportunities and struggling to find a foothold in the offense. Beau Collins, a young undrafted free agent from Notre Dame, caught some attention during training camp and preseason, but he's still very much a developing player trying to earn his spot. Gunnar Olszewski, on the other hand, is mainly known for his special teams prowess. He's a veteran who's made an impact there, but as a receiver, his opportunities are limited. And let's not forget the practice squad players like Ihmir Smith-Marsette, Lil Jordan Humphrey, and Dalen Camber are waiting in the wings, hoping for a chance to step up. Humphrey, in particular, has shown some rapport with rookie quarterback Jackson Dart during training camp, especially as a potential outside receiver. But what do the Giants do now? It's clear they're scouring the market, both free agency and the practice squad, to find reinforcements. Rumors have already started swirling about names like Odell Beckham Jr. and Nelson Agholor, who could be brought in to provide immediate help. But as we all know, bringing in a veteran like OBJ isn't just about talent, it's also about cap space and timing. And with the team already having committed significant resources, they might look elsewhere. That's where trade talks come into play, though acquiring a wide receiver via trade isn't straightforward, especially with the Giants already down a valuable third-round pick in 2026. The NFL trade market has been heating up, especially with the injury to Tyreek Hill, which has forced other teams to consider moving their receivers for draft capital or depth. Now, the thing about trades is they're complex. You need to weigh the short-term benefits against the long-term implications, and for the Giants, especially, it's about balancing urgency with strategic planning. They're not exactly in a position to be reckless, especially not with their future draft capital. But one name that keeps coming up in conversations is Stefon Diggs. Yes, Diggs, who's currently with the Buffalo Bills, but has a history with Giants head coach Brian Daboll from their days together in Buffalo. The familiarity there could make a trade more feasible, especially if the Bills are open to moving him, perhaps to get younger receivers more playing time or to rebuild around their young talent. Diggs, who will turn 32 in November, is still a productive receiver, with 19 catches for 213 yards on the season, catching 86.4% of his targets and averaging over 11 yards per catch. His contested catch rate has been solid, and his speed, reaching 18.2 mph this season, remains impressive. However, acquiring Diggs isn't a straightforward decision. His contract is hefty, a 3-year, $64.5 million deal signed this offseason, with an out after this year that would cost the Bills $9.7 million in dead cap. So, while he could immediately boost the Giants' offense, especially their 11 personnel package, the cost and the contract structure make this move unlikely unless desperation truly takes hold. Still, if the Bills are willing to listen, it's a conversation worth having, especially since the Giants need a reliable, proven wideout to replace Neighbors and help Daniel Jones stretch the field. Another intriguing name in the trade market is Jacoby Meyers, who has been quite vocal about wanting out of Las Vegas at the start of the season. Meyers has been a consistent performer for the Raiders, playing over 94% of their snaps and commanding a target share close to 30%. He's caught 21 of 32 targets for 258 yards, mostly operating out of the slot, but he's not just a slot receiver. He can line up outside and make plays. Meyers is entering the final year of his 3-year, $33 million contract, and given his production and experience, he could be a great addition for the Giants. The question is whether the Raiders are willing to move him, especially considering their own rebuild plans and the fact that Meyers has played in complex offenses before with the Patriots. If the Giants could bring him in, they might even look to re-sign him next season, depending on how the season unfolds and his market value. It's a move that could provide immediate help and also set up for future planning. And then there's Deebo Samuel's teammate, Rashee Rice, who's been developing as a deep threat. Although he's not as established as the others, his speed and ability to make contested catches could make him a hidden gem for the Giants, especially as a cost-effective option. But one player who's caught the attention of NFL insiders as a potential target is a player like Shaheed from the New Orleans Saints. Shaheed, who had a breakout season in 2023, was on pace to continue that trajectory before tearing his meniscus. He's a blazing speedster with a 4.2-something 40-yard dash, and last year caught 20 passes for 349 yards and 3 touchdowns in just 6 games. His current season has been solid, with 18 catches for 174 yards and a touchdown. Shaheed's a rookie on his final year of his deal, making him an affordable option at just over $4 million in base salary. The Saints might look to recoup some draft capital from the recent Veal trade, and Shaheed could be a logical choice for the Giants. Affordable, young, and with big play potential. But beyond trades, the Giants are also looking at the practice squad and free agency for hidden gems. Players like Davis, recently returned to the Bills' practice squad, could be worth a shot, especially given his size, 6'3", 225 pounds, and his familiarity with Brian Daboll's offense. There's also Perry, a 6th-round pick in 2023, now on the Broncos' practice squad, who showed flashes with the Saints last year, catching 4 touchdowns in 2023. Weiss Jr., who's only 24, might get a call-up if the Giants want to add some speed and versatility. And then there's Skinner, a former Washington Husky, who's shown some promise in preseason and could be a depth addition. All of this points to one thing: the Giants are actively exploring every avenue to strengthen their wide receiver core. Whether it's through trade, free agency, or promoting from the practice squad, they know how critical this position is for their playoff hopes and their quest to return to the Super Bowl stage. The injury to Neighbors has definitely added urgency, but it's also opened the door for creative solutions. They're not just looking for a stopgap, they want someone who can make an immediate impact, someone who understands the scheme, and someone who can grow with Daniel Jones. This entire situation highlights the importance of flexibility and strategic thinking in the NFL. Teams like the Giants, with a competitive window still open, can't afford to make reckless moves, but they also can't sit back and do nothing. The balance between short-term fixes and long-term planning is delicate, especially when the NFC East is so tightly contested and every game counts. With the division rivals strengthening their rosters and making bold moves, the Giants know that they need to stay aggressive but smart. And let's not forget, this isn't just about fixing a hole because of Neighbors' injury. It's about sending a message to the league, to their division rivals, that the Giants are serious about contending. They've built a solid defense, they've got a capable quarterback in Daniel Jones, and now it's about surrounding him with the right weapons. The wide receiver position, after all, is the key to unlocking the full potential of this offense. They need someone who can stretch the field, create mismatches, and make those big plays when it counts. So, as we continue to watch this saga unfold, one thing is clear: the Giants are active, they're determined, and they're exploring every option to get better. Whether it's a trade for a veteran like Diggs or Meyers, or finding a hidden gem on a practice squad, they understand that this season could be defining. Their future isn't just about the draft or free agency. It's about making the right moves now to give themselves the best shot at reaching the promised land once again. And with the NFC East so competitive, every decision, every trade, every signing becomes even more critical. And now, New York Giants fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and TO, the New York Giants. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest New York Giants news.